You'd be in what we call moderate risk, which is associated with pretty much every form of cancer, which I think people don't know.
Okay. Because I was wondering why cancer has been increasing.
Yes.
A variety of different forms of cancer have been
Yeah.
increasing. Breast cancer is one of the ones we always hear about that's
Yep.
increasing. So you're saying, what is the data in terms of low or moderate risk of drinking and cancer?
Yeah. So the data is growing and really worrisome. So for breast cancer, there's a few cancers that even at low risk limits, you see the risk begin to increase. So where we would say there's kind of no healthy, or there's no even like low risk amount. So breast and esophageal cancer are two examples of that. So breast cancer, if you were to drink below those low risk limits, so in the US, that would be fewer than 7 drinks, but a drink in the US is 5 ounces of wine, which is smaller than that. Or in the UK is below that 14 units, so it would be fewer than 7 of that size glass of wine. We still see a slight increase in the risk of breast cancer. It's about a 5% increase. So that means your risk of breast cancer would increase by about 5%. And that's not huge. So I think, percent increase is kind of hard to do the math on. But if you think in the US, for example, the average woman has a 13% likelihood of getting breast cancer in their lifespan.
13% likelihood?
Really, yeah,
Wow.
really high. So 5% increase would increase that to like 13.6 or so.
So that means that if there's 9 women in this room,
Yeah.
one of them is going to get breast cancer probabilistically.
In their life, yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why is it and it's increasing?
Yeah, and so the reasons for that are likely environmental because your genes don't change over that time period. So the risk factors, if you think about breast cancer, it's alcohol, it's obesity, it's, age when you have children or don't have children because it's a really hormonally driven cancer. Same thing if you think about colon cancer. That's a really scary one where we're seeing more and more cases in younger people. Some of the drivers of that, eating meat. So processed meats increase your risk of colon cancer. So, these very sort of normal behaviors. There's probably other environmental things, honestly, that we're not yet measuring or able to measure, just given the rate of acceleration. When I talk to my colleagues who are oncologists, things like plastics or other things that we don't yet know, it's clearly something in the environment that is driving these increased cancer risks.
So even at this sort of level, if I'm drinking, that might be 1 unit, right?
Yes. So that would be 1 unit. So that would be fewer than 14 of that. So you could see if you had double that, it would be a decent pour of wine. You could not have more than 7 of those in a week to be in low risk. But even drinking that amount, your risk of breast cancer would go up a little bit.
Even this amount?
Mm-hmm. There's really sort of no safe amount of alcohol when it comes to breast cancer.